I'm Lisa Haisha. Welcome to the Legacy Interviews. And I am so excited. I have Tige Charity sitting on my couch, and Charity is her real name, and we talked about that. It's very funny. Everyone thinks it was created because of what she does. She used to work in insurance claims, and now she created her own charity called Kids in the Spotlight. And I went to the event a couple weeks ago, or not even a couple of weeks ago, and it just blew my mind. It is something that I thought, oh, I'd go for a couple of hours and leave and just, see what's going on and, donate or do something. And it captured my 6-year-old daughter, Ava's heart, and it captured mine. And that's why she's here. We want to help promote her and introduce her to the world.
Thank
so,
you.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much. I am just absolutely thrilled to be here and to have met you at the event. I think, we've already talked about the fact that when I met you, you were emotional and I was emotional.
Yeah, we're both crying. You love me.
I know. And I was just like, I got on fake eyelashes. Don't make me cry.
Yeah.
But it was just so exciting to have you there and be a part of it. And the fact that your 6-year-old really captured what we were doing and felt the love and the impact of what we were doing. It's unbelievable. So thank you.
You are welcome. Kids in the Spotlight is such an amazing organization because it takes, from what I understand, it takes foster kids and they write and direct and star in their own films. Mm-hmm. And my daughter didn't want it. She goes, I want to play outside. I don't want to be inside during the day. I go, honey, it's 7 films. They're short. No, Mom. She goes, okay, I'll go to 1 or 2. Then she was like this and like this the whole time. Who's that? Who's that? And just riveted. Like, are you ready to go, honey? She, no, Mom, don't talk. I'm waiting for the next one. She was just like,
oh my
because
gosh.
it gave a window into so many different, children's lives. And I think that made her feel more connected to who she is and a better understanding possibly of what goes on in the world. And it touched her deeply because then she saw the actors sitting around and she's like, oh, that's them. And that's like their real life, not just going, it's based on who they are. Mm-hmm. And she loves writing and acting her little stuff out. And so she really connected to how different everyone's lives are.
Good.
Because she's in a bubble of her friends.
And now she got a chance to be exposed in a little way to some other lives. Absolutely.
Yeah, so your organization touches not only the kids that are in the project, that are moved by it, and you're giving all of them a chance in life and opportunity to gain self-esteem and to do something bigger than themselves, be a part of something bigger than themselves, feel part of a community, feel needed, feel valued, but you're doing it for anyone who watches it. That is a successful charity.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. That really is the goal and the objective. Just to be able to give those girls and those young boys that are in foster care that platform and opportunity for them to be heard and to be seen.
And that they're just as good as anyone else. They're not damaged goods.
Exactly.
And they pulled up in a limo and they had their evening gowns on. I mean, it was so awesome. And they were so excited about that.
They are the celebrities of the evening, and they wore their titles very well that day.
Yes.
And it's so funny because to see them at the beginning of our program, with their heads held down, a little resistant, not sure what Kids in the Spotlight is, not sure if they want to be a part of it. And then there's a trust element. Yeah,
Huge.
you're going to do what? Oh yeah, you're gonna make our own films. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, all these celebrities are gonna come out and see our films. Yeah, right. There's this little element of
what's in it for you?
Exactly.
Are you gonna just use us as a tool for something?
Exactly, all of that. And to watch them through the process of our 10-week program and to see them get out of the limousine and on the blue carpet, it's like I'm
and
watching.
The awards.
Exactly.
Come on.
I mean, they literally go from like cocoons. They turn into butterflies.
Yeah.
I mean, I see them soar. I see them with their heads up high and just walking in confidence. Like, I'm convinced that's right. That's my film. That's my story. And I belong here. And I'm like, yes, that's it. That's what we were trying to get. We were trying to get you to come out of that shell. We know that the circumstance of your situation has got to be painful. I can only imagine. And I wish that there were no kids who had to be taken away from their family and in the system. But for those that are, it's like I can only imagine it's a very painful situation. But that situation does not have to dictate the outcome of your life. So we're trying to expose them to careers in the industry, and also trying to give them something to be proud of, a finished product that they can look back on and play over and over. And bragging rights. I did this. I did this. And it's also just very therapeutic for them to tell their stories, because some of them write scripts based on their personal experience. And we get out of them sometimes what therapists can't get out of them.
Yes.
You know,
because it's
so
art.
It's
art. It's not in their head and where they're being questioned.
Absolutely.
So tell me how this came about. What was your moment of inspiration?
Oh, wow.
And yes.
You know what? It's funny because a couple of things happen, and they all seem to happen right at the same time. Several years ago, it was probably in 2007, 2006, something like that. My husband, who's an actor, was teaching a workshop at an all-girls group home, and I had a chance to accompany him on this visit. And after he finished the workshop, the program director asked us if we wanted to tour the facilities, and I'm like, of course. So we walked around, and we got a chance to go and see the girls' dorms where they lived. And when I walked in and I saw these twin-size beds and individual pictures above the beds and dresser drawers underneath the bed, my heart just kind of sank. I was thinking to myself, why was I fortunate to be raised in a home with a mother and a father, and these kids are in foster care, no fault of their own, and this is their personal space? So my heart just went out for those girls at that particular moment. And as we continued to tour, I noticed a group of girls sort of misbehaving or acting out, as I would call it. And I thought to myself, it was like a moment of judgment, like, why are these kids misbehaving? Company is present. And it dawned on me at that very split second that these girls aren't misbehaving. They just want to be recognized. They know company is present, and they want you to acknowledge them. And I was like, wow. And so I did, just, hi, young girls, how are you? And it was like a shift really quickly in the behavior. So I asked the director, what can I do to give back? And she said, well, we're always looking for mentors. And I was thinking to myself, I'm kind of feeling sorry for these girls, and I don't know that that's what they need.
Right.
They need more, guidance, someone that really can invest in them. And me coming from a place of sympathy, they would totally get over on me, because anything they asked for, I would try to make it happen some way or another. So I told her I didn't know if that was the best thing, but I would think about it. Well, fast forward, 2 years went by and I did nothing. I continued to work my corporate job. And in May of 2009, the church that I was attending was on a series called Discovering God's Dream for Your Life. And I was like, oh, here we go. Purpose. What's your life purpose? I've been working in this insurance thing for 16 years. I'm like, what else is there? This is what I know. And I kind of rebelled, kind of had a little rebellious stage, I guess, against that theory. And I was like, I don't know what God's dream is. Well, in February of 2009, my corporate job came to an end. And I was like, okay, I really need to know what God's dream is for my life. And I remember it was in April that I had been unemployed for 2 months, which was fine. I wasn't really actively looking because I was in insurance. I knew that I could find a job. I wasn't eager to get back in the rat race. I wasn't eager to get back in insurance and do what I had always been doing. I wanted something different. And I was up one night. It had to be around 1 or 2 in the morning. And I was crying. I'm like, okay, God, what is it? What is your dream for my life? What am I supposed to be doing? I want to do something to give back. I want to make a difference in the lives of someone else. I don't want to do the insurance, battling cases, wondering if someone is lying about their back injury or neck injury. I don't want to do that. I want to make an impact. And that night, after I finished sobbing and crying and having my pity party, I believe God showed me his dream for me. I remembered those girls at that facility. I remember those girls' dorm room. I remember those girls that I considered acting out. And I thought to myself, give them what you like. You love the arts. I'm not an actress. My husband would probably say I'm full of drama, but I'm not an actress. I've done musical stuff like that because I like to sing. So when I thought about those girls, I thought, you love the arts. They wanted to be seen. give them a platform, create an opportunity for them to tell their stories their way, and then celebrate them in a huge way. Create an Oscar-like event.
That's what it is. It's about celebrating them too. That's just as much of a bonus of what this program offers, because it's doing its one thing, but it's the allowing them to learn how to celebrate themselves and that they're worthy of celebrating themselves is like the
the icing on the cake.
Yeah, the icing and the cherry.
And the cherry on top. All the good stuff. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because when you do something and you complete something, it's like we all like to be validated.
Absolutely.
And it's like this is that validation for them. We're bringing out industry professionals who are giving their time to come and see what you've worked on over a 10-week time span. And for them, that's mind-blowing that people they see on television and movies
Are you kidding
would
me?
take time out of their schedules to come see their work. Yeah. And one of them told us, they said, we felt like during the shooting process that no one treated this like a little student film. Like, oh, this is just a little film that the kids did. Like, it was a real movie set. It's like everybody invested in what we were doing and they cared about the project. And it's like, absolutely. Like, we're not here just for fun. We are here because we want you to know you are just that valuable. You're just that important. And all of my set, all of my crew people, they do those films as if it's $100 million budget film. And trust me, we're nowhere near that. But they really invest in it. So that's how it all started, just through a process of things, just dreamer's journey and being laid off and remembering an encounter I had with a group of foster care girls that kind of basically in their own way charged me to pay it forward. So that's how it started.
That is just beautiful.
Thank you.
So what is your next step now? So all this is done. You've done 5 years of this, the film festivals.
Absolutely.
What's your vision for it?
We are trying to grow and expand. We're trying to, right now our program is 10 weeks. After the films are shot, we bring them in-house and we do the editing in-house and add the music and all of that. We were hoping to expand so that we can now teach the kids the editing aspect of films.
Okay.
We can teach
to
them
really
the
follow
music
through the whole thing.
Through the entire process. We just don't have the budget to do it right now. But we are exposing them on set to what a boom mic operator is, what a sound engineer is, what craft service looks like, what the makeup artist does, and the prop people and wardrobe and all of that. But we really want to teach them also the editing. We want them to be more involved in the editing process of their films and selecting the graphic design for their cover, their DVD covers, and the music that we add to the films. We really want them to be in the entire process. So that's our next goal. I mean, we're very, very small organization because we're mobile. We go to these facilities. We don't have an office space of our own.
So what was a huge obstacle you had in creating this when it all seemed to be coming together? I know financial is a perennial obstacle, but what else? Did you have a problem with the children or their parents or the foster care organizers?
It's not that we had a problem. When I first started reaching out to foster care agencies to explain to them what this new program is and what we were trying to do, the very first facility that we went to met with them and told them our goal, what we wanted to do and wanted to work with their kids. And someone in their office said, sorry, foster care kids can't be videotaped. Sorry. And it was like, I felt like somebody had literally smashed the dream. Like, I just literally right out of my chest. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm like, I can't, And then she was like, sorry. And I was like, oh, well, God, what am I going to do? And the gentleman who was in the meeting said, there's always a way around certain things. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Well, it's funny because how I would say God would have it or fate would have it. There was an article that was done by one of our board members talking about her involvement with Kids in the Spotlight, this new organization, and our mission and our purpose and what we were going to be doing. Someone from the Department of Children and Family Services read that article and contacted me, brought me in for a meeting and said, well, technically you're not supposed to, but this is how we get permission to videotape foster care kids. There's a court petition that has to be signed every year, and we'll do that for you. And I was like, what? So that was the first obstacle that I encountered. But then when DCFS stepped in and just kind of partnered with us in terms of making sure we had the right legal documents we needed to videotape the kids, that was great. The second challenge was getting agencies to invite us in to do the program, because we're new. Like, who are you? You're doing what?
Yeah.
You know, what's the incentive? And there's work on the agency part, because when we shoot, we are literally at that agency for about 10 or 12 hours on production day. So that means having a staff of people to sort of work beyond their normal
Yes.
hours and things like that. And staff is not always willing to do that. I'm tired, I have a life, I want to go home. But then there's some facilities that have staffs that are really willing to go the extra mile for the kids. So that was one of the challenges we had at first. But after we started producing the products and more agencies started to see, that became less
Easier.
of a challenge.
So if
Yes.
someone else wanted to start their own charity like this or something similar to this, if they have an idea or a dream, what advice would you give them?
Oh gosh. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up, because it's not always an easy road, especially if finances are a challenge. We didn't have any finances. We did one small fundraiser, raised $2,500, and that's what afforded us to buy the computers that we use to help these kids write their own screenplays. And from there, we started calling in favors, just asking people, you know, look, this is what I'm trying to do. Will you help me? And because
Did you put a strong goal sheet together and a vision plan and a business plan for it?
Absolutely. Not a business plan. I didn't do
Okay.
the business plan until after I went to college for
Okay.
my graduate degree. I knew nothing about nonprofit. That was the interesting thing. I had this vision for it, and I hit the ground running. And I literally had absolutely no information about.
But you took it very seriously. Then you went to college to learn about nonprofits, and you
Absolutely.
just started doing it and saying, I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm doing it
doing
because
it.
I've learned, and I know you have now, that if you don't just start, it never happens.
It never
and you have to
happens.
just put it out there. And if you make a wrong decision, just
Learn
go.
from it.
Yeah, make
Learn
another
from
one,
it.
and then another
Exactly.
one. But at least something's being created and
Exactly.
energies being put into it. If you go, okay, let me put it here and figure it out up here, it's never going to happen.
Well, I know with me it wouldn't,
Yeah.
because I'll just keep
A
delaying
year will
it.
go by, 2 years, then you lose the
The momentum.
energy. Yes.
You lose the momentum. And for me, I can create the challenges, all the obstacles, like, oh, if I got to face this, I got to face this. I can't do all of that. I'm just like, you know what? Face it as it comes. Deal with it as it comes. And I'm grateful that I ended up going to school. I enrolled in American Jewish University in 2011, a couple of years after I started the organization. And there I began to really get the knowledge that I needed to pour back into the organization and start building the infrastructure. But in the
And now you
beginning-
teach a class
and
there,
now I
helping others to do it. That's
exactly.
so
Now I teach
rewarding.
a class, yes, called Managing the Nonprofit Enterprise, because I did face a lot of challenges and pitfalls that I think I can help other young professionals avoid, you know, by giving them some of the tools or things to do that.
Yeah, so you're a person that I think manifests very well. And I always say this phrase called expect miracles. And I think you expect miracles
Yes.
because you just go and it's going to work out. It's going to work. How do you teach someone else to do that? Because most people find all the obstacles or they're afraid. What advice would you give them to get rid of their fear and just look for the miracles and stay open to the miracles?
You know, I heard someone say the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. And it's like, and if you look at it like that this fear is just false evidence appearing real, and you press past that. You know, there are things that's going to block you, but then there's always a way either around it.
Yeah, and there's
through
always a
it,
reward even in
or-
the failure.
Exactly.
I know
There's
everything
always an
I've failed
opportunity
at.
to learn.
Yes.
Exactly. So even a failure is an opportunity, as you said,
Yes.
to learn. Just be willing to take advantage of those opportunities and not take it personal, because we do sometimes, you know, I've felt a couple of times like, oh gosh, this was miserable. This was horrible. We didn't do this right. But it's like, what do we do from here? Where do we go from here? And you pick up the pieces and you continue to go. But doing nothing is just not an option.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest advice I would give anybody. Doing nothing is not an option.
And then I'd want you to talk a little bit about the power of giving back, because another issue I found with clients who are on this couch or just in the world of reading the paper, watching the news, is people are so afraid of money and not having money in the economy, and it's bad news after bad news, that everyone is becoming more self-centered of I've got to take care of me and my family, and I don't have time. You know, you're traveling there, you're doing that. I don't have time for that. I've got to worry about my family. How did you vote? I voted Republican or Democrat for this because of my family, because this issue fits my family. It's not about what's better for the greater whole. How would you touch on that? To help someone realize, because you and I both get this strongly because we both have charities and that giving back, you always get.
Exactly.
So talk a little bit about that, of where you were psychologically or emotionally with your insurance job, making money for your family, and then giving back and going, don't know where the next dollar's coming.
Right,
I don't know if this is going to work,
right.
and I'm putting all my energy into it.
You know what? My philosophy is you can't afford not to, because when you give, you receive. It's better to give than to receive. And even when I had the insurance job and I was making my nice salary, I went to bed at night just frustrated. You know, here we go, another day, just dreading.
Another soul-sucking day.
Exactly. It's like, here we go, somebody else claiming their injury is worth $60,000 when it's really worth $600. Here we go in the rat race of that. But when you're giving back, especially to a community that needs it, it's a reward that's beyond it's a reward that's beyond my words to express what it does for.
I think it changes you. It transforms you from the inside out, and you're never the same after that.
And you're depositing in society. You're making a difference, because when you impact that life, and then that life go and impact another life, it's like it's just a triple, a spiral, some kind of effect, like a domino effect.
Yes,
I guess I would say. And there's nothing like it. That's the reward. That's the reward when I can see one of my kids who are failing in school all of a sudden getting A's and B's, because now they see the value of their lives and the value of earning good grades. That I can sleep and smile at night and say, yes, you know, versus, okay, I got enough money to pay the bills. That's always a good feeling. But what else is there? What else is there? And when you're giving back, it just feels something in us internally.
Absolutely.
That's just, it's beyond our comprehension.
If you think about every human being, all they want in life, look at all these foster kids, any successful person, they want to be loved, seen, and heard, and valued, and they want it, and they want to give it.
Absolutely.
And for some reason, they're afraid to give it because they don't think it'll be reciprocated. So they hold back and protect themselves.
Or they've been rejected.
They've been rejected. So if they could open up to love, accept love, and give love, they're a complete whole person.
Absolutely.
And that's what your program's doing.
Absolutely.
And that's what anybody who gives is doing for themselves and for the world.
Absolutely.
You're unlocking hearts, you know.
Absolutely. And honestly, I don't believe there's anything more powerful than love.
No, there's not. So, what would you want your legacy to be?
Oh, gosh. You know, that with the last name Charity, that I lived up to that name. That I lived
beautiful.
up to that name. That I didn't just talk about it. I didn't just sign my name on pieces of paper and announce my name. I'm Tige Charity. But I actually lived that name. And I thank my husband for that name. My maiden name is Johnson, actually. So it's like, oh, this is nice.
Absolutely. I'm trading up here.
Yeah,
This works for me.
Exactly. And I thank you, Daddy, for that last name.
Yes. But maybe that had something to do with your shift of doing this charity. I mean, subconsciously, that was in your head all the time. I'm charity. I'm charity. It could have had some effect.
Could be. And I always like working with young people.
Yes.
They're so, full of life and full of energy and just so,
Hungry.
Oh, exactly.
Yes.
Thank you. That's the word. But just never knew exactly what that was. And
I don't know
what
where to channel that
capacity.
energy. Yes.
And I'm like, what do I have to give? What do I have to give? It's like, give them what you love. Give them what you love. And that's how it all started, and that's where we are today.
What a beautiful, successful story. Thank you so
you.
much for being here
Thank
today.
you for
What an
inviting
honor
me.
to know you and
Appreciate
be a
it.
part of your organization and to help
you.
when I can.
Thank you so
Any
much.
way I can.
I am grateful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for spreading the love.
Yes, we have to. That's what it's about.
Absolutely.
So hope everyone else continues spreading this
Yes.
message. So
Yes.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.